A very good morning to everybody. My topic, as introduced, is Doha and Nyam Gur in Vajrayana Buddhism, songs of realization as a medium for Mahamudra meditation and teaching. So although we have a lot of guru and choklus and a lot of sacred songs in our tradition here, my interest is to go back to the Indian wisdom from where it all originated. In my presentation, I will be running through the definition of Mahamudra to those who are new to it, and I'll be introducing Mahasiddha Saraha and his Doha and his medium of transmission, and then I'll also touch briefly on the melodic expression. So Mahamudra, or Chakja Chenpo in our language, in Dzongkha and in Tibetan, Mahamudra was the father of Mahamudra is Mahasiddha Saraha himself. Maha translates to great, it's a Sanskrit word. Mudra translates to seal, symbol, or the brand, the ultimate and the absolute brand, because all phenomena are stamped by the great seal, that is emptiness or shunyata, and wisdom or prajna. Mahamudra is beyond words and conceptualization. It is best experienced or realized through radical practice and understanding the Guru's pith instructions and radically practicing it. In Buddhism, there are two traditions, the long textual teachings and many years of scholastic pursuit. And then there's the other pith instruction. So great masters who practiced and achieved and actualized all the sutras, tantras, and all the practices, they understand that common people like us, for us it's too complicated. It takes a lot of time and energy. So they have so much compassion that they customize the teachings to each individual's need and their capacity and their level of understanding and their level of realization. So they just extract the essence and then give it to each individual, and it's called the pith instruction. And the best example was the Dorjilopen. Vajra Acharya gave us a teaching on day one, and he mentioned about Nagarjuna's experience, time in Nepal, where a buffalo herder requested for a teaching, and the buffalo herder, his capacity was, his habitual pattern was he kept seeing buffaloes his whole life, so he could only visualize buffaloes. And Nagarjuna had so much compassion, and also he knew the method in a way that he asked the buffalo herder to visualize on buffaloes. And then with that, the herder achieved realization and he saw the nature of mind. The great Indian wisdom has the most precious gift to the world. That is, they have a balance between the intellectual pursuits and wisdom and prajna. And the Indian subcontinent is where great Mahasiddhas lived, and then they actually didn't care about how intelligent you are. If you don't have the wisdom, then what do you mean? That was what they taught. And also, intellectual pursuits are a tool to achieve the end, but that's not the end. So that was what it was taught by Saraha, and likewise all the Mahasiddhas and great teachers. So coming to Saraha, also to those who are new to Saraha, he was the Mahasiddha who lived around 8th century. So many conflicting findings are there regarding his time in India. However, textual evidences point to somewhere around the 8th century. And then he lived in the Indian subcontinent, and he in future, he would have magnifying influence on, a great magnitude of influence on Vajrayana Buddhism in the land of Tibet, Bhutan, and beyond. Sara means arrow, and ha translates to shooter. So this is from the Upper Brahmsha language, about which I'll be talking more in the following slides. He was an iconoclast. He rejected established beliefs, class, customs, institutions of the then Indian society. As shown in the picture, he's depicted holding an arrow. His arrow is a symbol of piercing the dualistic mind with wisdom. His teacher who gave him the pit instruction and pointed the nature of mind was his consort, who was a fletcheress arrow maker. She was considered to be from a very low class Indian society, in a society ruled by Brahmanical norms and very complicated class system in those days. She was considered a low class, and then in his vision he had a guidance that there is a wisdom dakini who will point you to the nature of mind. Then he went looking for her, and he met her in a busy town, and then he spotted her selling arrows, and then he asked her, "What are you doing, lady?" And then she responded saying, great wisdom of the Buddha is not understood by through words, through description through words. It is best understood by understanding symbols. So that was the moment where he was given the pit instruction by the wisdom dakini. Then he took her as his consort, and that was the beginning of Mahamudra, the Great Seal. So key themes in Saraha's teaching: direct experience and non-dual nature of mind, spiritual radicalism, and poetic mysticism. I'll be talking more about the poetic mysticism in the coming slides, and negation of conventional method, fierce critic of religious orthodoxy, social hierarchy, and the limitations of rational thought and social defiance. Just to run through briefly Saraha's influence on Vajrayana lineages. The first Karmapa Disum Khenpa and the third Karmapa Rangjung Dorje had visions of Saraha, and then has so much influence on the Karma Kagyu lineage and the whole Kagyu lineage. Milarepa, the most renowned poet, and Naljorpa in the Himalayas, his lineage is also from Saraha, through Naropa, through Maitripa, Marpa, also through Atisha. So we don't have to discuss much about who Milarepa and what his corpus of work is. And then Padamba Sangye also is said to have had a vision of Saraha, through which the Shije Chui lineage had begun. Dujom Lingpa had a vision of Saraha, from which Tramanakmo had begun, and Longchenpa, and then of course, our very own Drukpa Kunle, who is believed to be Saraha's reincarnation, and also known for his songs of realization, his unconventional methods of teaching. Therefore, Doha songs act as blueprint for Mahamudra and other schools of Tibetan Buddhism and their teachings. Coming to Doha songs of Saraha. Doha is a spontaneous song sung at the spur of the moment when a realized master gains insight into the nature of mind. At that moment, the master has such level of realization that it comes out in the form of spontaneous song with spontaneous melody. It is born out of master's realization that comes from practicing the Guru's oral instructions. It is so profound and direct in the ability to transform and awaken the mind of the listener, and can instantly point to the nature of mind. Definition of Doha: it is derived from Sanskrit word dodaka, referring to the type of meter in Sanskrit poetry. Meter is the beat of the poem and the repeated rhythm, pause, that dynamic. And also, do translates to number 2, ha translates to set, so it also means poems in 2-line rhyming stanza couplets. Also, Lara Bridstein, the author of Adamantine Songs of Saraha, she prefers to define Doha as pithy couplets. I agree with her definition because Doha songs are packed with wisdom teachings. In other way, pith instructions. The language usually used is direct, authentic, and intimate communication between master and disciple. It is a means to reach the common people's understanding of dharma and wisdom. For example, Arya Deva, in his prophecy to Nagarjuna, he said that in future, Vajrayana masters will use slangs, folk language, dance, poetry, and music to teach their wisdom and karuna to the common people. So this is an example of rhyming couplet of Doha. So talking about transmission, Doha as a means of transmission, Doha in itself is a pith instruction and transmission. Doha can be understood, it's described to be using twilight language. So twilight language has outer, inner, and secret levels of understanding. Outer, literal, inner, at the emotional and relatable level, secret at the elite level of Tantra. Also at 5 levels of understanding, Kriya, Charya Yoga, Anutantra, and Ati Yoga. It's as same as a prism reflecting different colors of light. So how you understand a Doha depends on your level of practice and also at what level have you achieved. Doha language is Apabramsha. It is a proto-language of all the Newari, Nepali, Hindi, Marathi, Bhojpuri, Assamese, Oriya, Gujarati, and Bengali. So the Mahasiddhas like Saraha, they spoke proto-language of Bengali, which came around the Apabramsha language. Melodic expression. Dohas are sung to varieties of melodies. However, Dohas don't have assigned raga. Raga is the musical notation guide on which you can improvise. It's not assigned like that. So Doha has to be sung, Dohas are sung at the instant moment of a master's realized state. So it comes out as a spontaneous melody, which I'll talk more in the following slides. So musical expression. There is a secret practice of music called Nada Yoga, from where mantras and all the spontaneous songs reveal. Our body has 72,000 nadis or channels in which vital fluids flow. Our human ear cannot hear the music of the flow of the fluids. However, once you achieve the Nada Yoga, you can hear the sound and the melody. Our body is divided into 7 chakras, Sare, Gama, Pada, Nisa. When a master realized in his deep samadhi state, as he comes out of it, the wisdom, Samanta Bhadri, wisdom comes out spontaneously, and his body channels will choose the right raga, the musical notation. So Dohas don't have composed melody, rather ragas come out spontaneously. And the deity or the energy chooses the melody. I have a short video of a living Siddha from Bengal called Kula Vaduta Satpurananda. He is a lineage holder of Indian Vajrayana and also oral tantric tradition. I'd like to play the video.
Tulbe
like to watch more of his Doha spontaneous songs, you can Google Kula Vaduta Satpuranandala. And so when I look at this Siddha, it gives me a feeling that Mahasiddhas like Saraha, Virupa, and their contemporaries would have really looked like him with dreadlock, with beard, bulging energetic eyes, and that beautiful tan skin. So to conclude, Saraha is the founder of Mahamudra tradition, the shoot of arrow that pierces the core of duality. Doha has connection to our bodily channels, unlocking of musical channels with attainment of realization. Doha songs are perceived differently depending on the level of students' depth of practice. Thank you so much.